Hey, welcome to episode 2. Do you call it episode 2?
We sure do.
Are you sure like we're Star Wars or something? Okay, welcome to episode 2 of What the Hell is Happening podcast. So, how do you do that?
Yeah. Just like this. Just throw it up. Yep.
So anyway, I'm Jeanne McInerney, and I am 69 years old, and I am Nick Henderson's roommate, who's 29 years old. So we're trying to figure out life as we go along, and every day we get up and look at each other and go, what the hell is happening? So here we are.
Here
Nick?
we are. Yes. My name is Nick Henderson. I'm 29. Jeannie's roommate. Jeannie, how the hell did that happen?
I don't know. Just one day, there you were.
Okay, I lost
there
my job.
You were.
That's what happened.
Okay, you lost your job.
Jeannie called me one day, and I was just like, bruh. I'm like, I just got laid off my job. I got about maybe 2 months, 3 months before it's time to figure some things out. And he was just like, oh my gosh, why don't you just move out of your place?
Yeah, I'm a bleeding heart for sure. I said, you can live with me if you take care of Frog when I'm gone and you water my plants. So
Yes.
Here we are. What the hell? That's what the hell.
What the helly?
And you know what? When I got home, Frog was alive. But you know what? Maybe he wasn't. Maybe you replaced him with like another frog from the PetSmart.
Yeah.
How do I know it's
Oh my
really
God.
Frog?
Yeah, no.
I know how it's Frog. You know why? Because Frog knows me.
He does. It's
Frog
like
recognizes. He gets excited when I come
He
up.
does.
He does. So anyway, I do know it was my frog, and anyway, that's how we're together. So
And I think that it's been the best thing that's ever happened to you. When
you do you? You do.
I mean,
This is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
you get to start your day with me.
Okay.
I'm lit. in
Yeah,
the
when
morning.
you're out of bed before 10.
Okay, but that's
Okay.
like one day.
My day started before that, just so
Okay.
you know.
Okay, first of all, I sometimes, actually, most of the time I'm up before you.
No, that's so not true.
Well, I am active. You like
Active? What, rolling over?
I'm making a smoothie at 7:30 in the morning. And then you come strolling in around like 8-ish. You're like, oh, aren't you all excited?
I haven't seen a smoothie made at 7:30 in the morning even one time.
8 o'clock.
Okay, and those smoothies are
8:30.
really gross. They're like the color of purple cement.
Okay, but
Just saying. So you better be really healthy.
you see the skin though. It's glowing. The body
Your skin's
is bodying. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
All right. Will
it's-
my skin glow if I drink those purple cement
already
things?
glowing.
It's glowing just being in your presence.
That's what I'm trying to tell
Just
you.
gives me the glow. Dude.
You're welcome.
Gives me the glow. All right.
Jeannie, so you and I, what I love, we can talk about any and everything, whether I am super informed or not. I find that our conversations are always educational. And I think also you've kind of let me in on the fact that you're learning a lot from me as well, which to me is important for intergenerational connections and intersectionality.
Yeah.
And I think one of our passions that we share, we just love people.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I think that's kind of how we started to form our unlikely bond, and also why you started the work that you started and how we were connected through Heal Chicago.
Yeah.
So to my understanding, Heal Chicago started because of the George Floyd incident
Yes.
that I think we should spend some time like talking about and
Yeah.
unpacking like where we are today with that.
I think it did start with the George Floyd incident, which I think rattled the entire country. I do want to say that I had been doing anti-racism work since the 90s. And after Obama won, all the white people went, yeah, we're good. We're done. We so don't need this anymore. Thank you for your service, And then that was kind of it. So I started doing just a kind of a tangent of that work. But it was really disappointing to see how all that dried up and everybody just wanted to elect Obama, move on, we're good to go. And I remember just saying to some people, I don't know what the backlash is going to be, but it's a-coming. It's a-coming. I could never have imagined where we are today. I'm serious. I never, ever could have imagined how far the pendulum swung or would swing. You know, that said, when George Floyd happened, my phone was ringing like crazy. You've got to do something. You've got to start something. You've got to do this. I'm like, Jesus, I'm 64 years old. Maybe I'm done doing things, right? And then that Catholic girl in me said, all right, if you have something to give the world and you're not giving it, you're going to go to hell. So anyway, I thought, okay, I better do something here, right? So I started a group of young professionals, sort of 25 to 40, to really get together and figure out, like, how do we have conversations with each other? How do we not tear each other apart? You know, what inside of us can we put aside to keep looking and humanizing each other instead of dehumanizing each other? And you know what? It came from this question inside I had, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What do we owe each other? Do we owe each other anything? Do you owe me something? Do I owe you something? Do I owe Chicago something? Do I owe my family anything? What do we owe? What do you owe your friends? What do we owe each other? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are, I am pro reparations. So, yeah, run me what I deserve. In all seriousness.
Oh, let me write you a check. Not okay.
But
so, what would that look like to you? Okay, you want reparations. I'm not opposed to them, but what would it look like?
So, for me, there's a fine line between my idea of reparations and then also the life that I saw modeled by like my great grandparents, who I was able to experience pretty much up until, you know, my mid 20s before they passed. They were in their 90s. And I saw how their story created this world that, to me, embodied perseverance. It embodied the struggle. It embodied hope. It embodied faith. And they were part of the Great Migration, you know, born in Mississippi and moved here and started, you know, the life that I'm still benefiting from. You know, the fact that when my great grandparents passed away, I was able to receive some type of inheritance. It wasn't a lot, but it was something. It says a lot that some, you know,
it does.
Some folks from Mississippi, born, you know, in the 20s, was able to build something that generations were able to.
So do you feel
from.
That's reparations enough, that they were given the opportunity to build something that came to you?
I see that as something that I hold close to myself, so that I have a framework for not expecting everything to just be given to me because I'm Black. Now, would that be great?
Do you think
Absolutely.
Some people think that?
Yeah, I think we see that with this current administration, with how everything that has, you know, systemically been put into place to hold up communities such as the Black and brown communities, they're all being, you know, just removed.
Yeah, dismantled.
But dismantled.
I mean, do you think that there are Black people who think that everything's owed to them just because they're Black?
Absolutely.
And how does it make you feel?
You know, I've always been a go-getter, and I come from a long line of go-getters.
Yes.
So that is something I don't personally identify with, because I live in my body, I live in my Blackness on a day-to-day basis. So I'm aware of the way in which, I'm aware of how being a Black man in 2025, what that means and the implications behind it, the repercussions of it. And that is so suffocating sometimes. So all I can do is continue to pursue what it is that I am aware of, which, as I just said, you know, I've had examples set by my great grandparents who came from Mississippi, you know, no education, barely any education, but then were able to acquire, you know, government jobs and was able to, you know, buy property, was able to do all these things that now give me a sense of hope for the life I'm able to build, because I have triple, quadruple the amount of opportunities, resources. So I'm not expecting a handout, but also if the government wants to pay for Black folks to be able to trace their ancestry.
Yeah, you came up with this idea.
Yes.
I think, your idea, I think, is worth laying out there.
Yes. So my idea is, okay, Black folks was snatched up and was taken from their land and their their heritage, and was just kind of forced to assimilate. And I feel as though there's so many Black folks, including myself, until recently, thank God for my cousin Karis, who did an ancestry.com type of test.
Where she spit in the tube and send it like that one?
Yeah, exactly. And it was able to trace where our family was from, and was giving some very detailed information as far as like, oh, your great grandparent was a slave, like, or was, a free slave. There was so much information that empowered me. And I was like, shit, the government should be paying for this. Why,
Right, I agree.
The more that you want to know, they charge you for each, so I don't know too much about it. I haven't looked into it yet because the government.
I think you're 100% right. I think that if a government takes away your ability to know your own heritage, they should give you that ability back. I think, I'm going to say this. Not everybody wants to do 23andMe and Ancestry.com because some people have some, I don't know, some like paranoia about it that, they're going to be, I don't know what they think. But anyway,
yeah.
And so you'd have to respect that. But I think for a government to give back the ability to find out who you are, if they took that away from you, would be an amazing first step.
Mm-hmm.
Like, find out, are you from West Africa? Are you from East Africa? Are you from, where are you from and who are your people? I think is so important. And I agree with you. I think we should, what would we do? Put a petition around?
Yeah.
I don't know. We could do something.
This is the petition right here.
This here, we are petitioning the United States government right now, right here, to pay for Ancestry.com. I think 23andMe went bankrupt. So it probably has to be the other one. But anyway, so I think that's, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's have people call in. We don't have a number though.
Yeah.
But you can email us. You can email nick@healchicago.org.
Yes.
nick@healchicago.org and go, I support the petition.
There we go.
There you
I'm
go.
so serious. We should definitely get that started.
I'm serious.
I know you're serious.
I am serious. I mean, it's weird you talk about that because I did the 23andMe, and it came back really weird. It came back that I was 100% Irish and from the west coast of Ireland, which I started thinking, does that make me an indigenous Irish person living in diaspora? Because my grandparents and my mother had to flee from poverty and the oppression of the British. So what am I? And we've been talking a lot about that too, right? We've been talking a lot about our heritage and how that affects us and how it moves with us when we don't even see it. It's like a shadow behind us, right?
Yeah.
All the time.
When you were able to trace your heritage and just a sense of identity back to that, did it give you language for why you are and who you are today?
Well, I think that's a good question. It's pretty powerful. A few years ago, I went back over to Ireland, and I have Irish citizenship as well. And I was where my mother was born. And we went to this little graveyard to see my great-grandparents or whatever. And it was so weird because the little graveyard was like all bumpy. And I asked the guy who runs the little graveyard, why is it so bumpy? In America, you got these smooth little graves, little things on the door. And he said, because during the famine, we had to just throw so many bodies in at the time. And it was just like, wow, like I'm walking on these. Anyway, without getting too carried away here, it was really powerful.
Yeah.
And it did make me think about, just like you're thinking about your great grandparents, it made me think about all the people who suffered, who came before me, and my grandmother was a maid in New York, after the Irish Rebellion. And it turns out, because my grandfather, they're pretty sure, was in jail for 10 years, which is why I couldn't figure out, for being part of the rebellion. And you would find that amazing, right? That I'm a history of a rebellion, a descendant of a rebel.
I'm not shocked.
But it just really made me think about all the people who sacrificed, and I'm here living the dream, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a lot,
That's how I feel. I feel with all of the oppressive, systemic things happening on a day-to-day basis that I have to make sense out of, I'm still my ancestors' wildest dreams. The fact that I'm able to exist so freely and be in a position like what we're doing right now, be, whether 2-3 people listen to this, I'm in a position of influence to inform, to educate, to build a bridge. And I think that is something that we owe each other.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we're doing here. We're building that bridge to say, like, you know what? I know you're crazy and you're
only some of the time.
only. And me, I'm just me. You are. Comes with its quirks, and
some of it,
and benefits.
maybe a few of them,
just a couple.
Yeah.
But that to me is something I'm sure, even if my great grandparents were here, I'm sure they would be amazed at how I was just like,
and how good you dress.
Oh no, they've been knew that.
And your nails, they'd love your nails.
Oh, now I'm trying to think, was I in that era of my life when they were around? I don't think they quite made it to the nail art era.
Okay.
I don't think they would have been able. I probably would have put them in the grave, honestly, if they would have seen.
I married a Jewish guy. My great grandparents would be rolling in those lumps right now. They'd be.
How were you able to, just as you said at the beginning about the response to all the social injustices happening? You said the Catholic girl in you, was like, how are you able to bridge your, Catholic faith and belief system with a Jewish man, and then what,
Well, I'm not going to say the whole family was like, yay. They just would stare at him as though he were from some other planet. And afterwards they would go, he's very polite. That's all they could say. It was like, oh, okay, fine. And then when we announced we're getting married, so my dad found out we were living together. So I got a letter in the mail to Miss Jeanne McInerney Spinster, and it had a copy of all the 10 Commandments, highlighted which ones I was breaking. So there was that. And then when we said, okay, we're getting married, it was a big discussion within my family did it count? Because I was marrying a non-Catholic. So they were trying to decide if they should give me a shower, a wedding shower, because they didn't know for sure if it would actually count. And then we had a rabbi who showed up on a motorcycle with his girlfriend. My family was just like, what? Thinking of what the hell? They were like, it was quite the scene. Yeah.
Wow. That makes me feel like, first of all, it's you retell it in a funny way, but a part of my, just instinct is like, ooh, that doesn't feel good. Like from my own experience, there are a list of things that I feel as though I've had to challenge. I think probably the biggest being, navigating queer identity within like a religious context has been so interesting. And I think while it may not have been the biggest shock to my family, I think the like me making it, like me sharing that, I think people are okay with you just being quiet. I'm sure you're familiar with the term being in the closet.
Yes.
Yes. I think actually your generation probably came up with that.
Yeah.
Like, keep it in the closet. Like that is still a thing. And people are comfortable with people suffering in silence. And even the more so in religious communities where it's like, hey, you can serve here. You can
Well,
donate
okay,
here.
what are we talking about? What do we owe each other? We owe each other freedom, right? The freedom to be who you actually are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think about queer identity. My own daughter, who identifies as queer, you know, and her wife, they were able to get married. It was a really good wedding, but it was super fun. I drank. They had special cocktails. It was fabulous. But, you know, I'm just saying I was able to go and I was able to celebrate and find joy with their friends and everything else because they, for right now, I don't know, that seems like it could change at any moment, you know, had the freedom to get married.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a big deal. Like it really is. And you think about all the generations before you, they didn't have freedom. They had to stay in the closet. They you know, people didn't feel, you know, who was that guy? They made a movie about him. He literally came up with this code in Britain that something with World War II, he broke the Nazi code. And then they found out after the war was won, virtually on this guy's back or brains or whatever, that he was gay, and they criminally arrested him, and he finally killed himself. Can you imagine that? I mean, somebody who literally saved democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. I wish he was back now. We sure could use a little bit of him anyway.
Yeah.
So I think we owe each other freedom.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I guess right.
I agree. And that's subjective. We can go down a rabbit hole of like what that looks like. How do you engage and empower one's freedom? And, you know, in the last episode we talked about, or I think I talked about just most of that starting with yourself and you having to be so aware, so comfortable within yourself that you're able to give other people language for how to engage with you.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there because I don't think you should ever become too comfortable with yourself. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really dangerous spot. One of my favorite sayings is, if you feel you met the Buddha on the road, if you feel you met the Buddha on the road, kill it.
Damn.
You know why?
Why?
Okay, think about it. The Buddha represents enlightenment, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you feel you're enlightened, that means you have nowhere to go, no growth ahead of you. Well, why would you want that? Right? So the Buddha is an illusion, your own illusion to enlightenment. I don't know why I went off on that tangent. What were we saying? What were we saying? My Teflon brain just went somewhere else.
I love it. I'm tracking. So
you're tracking?
Did you ever imagine though that your first wedding with your child or children would have been a same-sex wedding?
Absolutely not. Okay, I'm just going to say that, and I'll tell you why. Because, well, okay, I went to a high school with 1,600 girls, all girls. I did not know until after high school that, like, a chick would want to make out with another woman. Like, it didn't even dawn on me. Like, it never dawned on me. I was surrounded by 1,600 females. Somebody must have been doing it in the coat closet, okay? That's all I got to tell you. Just by the odds, if 10% of the people are gay, that means 160 of them were making out somewhere. Mm-hmm. But it didn't occur to me. So, no, I would have to say I didn't imagine that. You know, when I found out about it, I was just like, that's cool, I guess. You know, means more guys for me. Right? I'm down with that. I'm totally down with that. But again, I'm really about freedom, and I don't mean like the freedom. Actually, I'm not for the freedom to carry guns around or anything. So I guess I'm not for all freedom. Ooh. I'm for very specific freedom.
Jeanne, that's right? Interesting. We've never talked about that before. You see, I just crossed my leg.
You did.
Because I want to get into that.
Ooh.
Should that be
is that a thing?
What?
When you cross your leg?
I think so.
Should I cross my leg?
Oh.
What does that mean? Are we really getting into it now? Because we're like double-crossed? We're double-crossed. I love that. We're double-crossed.
Jeanne, you're making me, like...
This isn't really comfortable. I'm going to kind of... Fun.
Okay. I have been thinking about this a lot lately, and it started when I was living on the south side of Chicago, like in my first apartment was in South Shore, and then I moved to Woodline. So Woodline was a slight step up, but South Shore, all of my family was like, "Oh, you need to get a gun. You need to do this. You need to get your." I did not, because I wanted to fight against this idea of like my community is the issue. I wanted to first address what my perspective of the community was before I decided how I needed to arm myself metaphorically and quite literally. And with that being said, after maybe a good 6 months of living there, now mind you, my place got broken into the first month that I was living there. So you know for a fact I was like, shit, I should have had a gun. Like, but wait, what were you about to say?
Did you ever have a gun held on you?
No, thank God.
I have twice.
Jeanne, not you got more street cred than me.
I'm full of street cred, hon. You don't even know.
So is that why you are against like having your own gun? Or
well, you know, I would have shot myself. I mean, I'm not good at mechanical things.
Okay.
You know, a gun is a mechanical thing.
Okay.
By the time I got the gun out and I told the person, hold the gun, you know, they would have shot me. I had to use my brains to talk my way out of it.
Mechanics aside, do you believe that it is do you believe that it's like our constitutional right to, you know, have a gun?
Yes and no. I said.
Did you bring your little Constitution?
I know. I carry around a little Constitution, a little book of the Constitution. A dork. You think I'm a total dork? I am a dork. I believe that when the founders wrote the Constitution, they weren't picturing people with semi-automatics and blowing away little kids while they're saying while they're at mass. You know, I think just like you need licenses to drive a car, you need a license to get married. You know what I mean? Why can't we have certain restrictions around guns?
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of people who hunt, and I so respect them because the people I know almost only eat what they hunt. So they have a real relationship with the earth on what that takes. I think to myself, I go to the store and I grab a steak. I mean, sometimes I am, but you know, I'm not thinking about the poor cow or the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they hunt and they fish, and I think that's kind of fine. You know, they're not hunting like rare elephants or anything. They're out there. And so I think it's an interesting concept. So I had the guns held on me twice when I was working. I was the only, for 4 years, I was the only female meter reader for People's Gas in the city of Chicago. And they were not particularly happy having a woman, and they tried to spook me out. So they put me in some of the most, you know, tough neighborhoods. Cabrini at the time was still there and all that. And I was in
picturing you in Cabrini Green.
Yeah, I know.
Turning people's gas off?
Yeah, no, I was the one who read the little meter.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I was down there and like there was a big drug deal going on, and I walked right into it, and they just took the gun and aimed it at me, and I went, "I'm only here to read that little box. See that little gray box on the thing?
Fellas, I'll be right out of your way.
Passing by, reading the little box. Number one, I'm sure they were like, "What is this white woman in a weird People's Gas costume doing in a basement here?" Right?
Gosh.
So that was one, but the other one, interestingly, was an old white dude. He let me in to read his gas meter. And then he said, "I have a gun. You better be who you say you are." And he held it on me the entire time I read his meter. So, I mean, yeah.
And you just finished the job while this gun was being held on you.
Just like part of my day, I guess. I don't know. What are you supposed to do? I needed the money.
Run.
I wasn't going to run. I was in his basement.
Or you quit.
I'm not a quitter. You know I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done Heal Chicago if I was a quitter.
Which is a great segue back to like, what do we owe each other? We've talked about our right to defend ourselves. We talked about identity, and we talked about, you know, reparations, all these different things that are sometimes just ideas. Like, how do we move that forward?
So let's go down, let's drill down on this to a personal level. What do you owe your parents?
Thank
One
you.
generation to the next. I want to know, what do you think you owe your parents?
I owe them a astounding thank you.
Yeah, not even a card.
I mean, yeah. I can do a little card. Ain't nothing
You
gonna
can
be
do
in
a
it.
little card.
I'm not
You
gonna put
can't even
nothing
do
in
a big
it.
card.
We'll have a.
No, do we owe? Do you think people owe their parents anything?
You know, I do think that there is a responsibility to honor your parents, and that's something that that's a belief system of mine.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
Honoring your parents is what foundation has been set. You continue to build on it. So if your parents work there,
What if your parents were jerks?
then that's a great question. I do think that there's still
Your parents are nice, but what if they were jerks?
they're all right. No, they're great. I think it's all about your own perspective. I think we've had conversations where I've talked about the moments that weren't great between my parents and I. And
Yeah.
and you were just like, but you need to let that shit go and and figure out how to meet in the middle and decide to take the reins and build a life that you want to build for yourself, but also that empowers the story behind all of that. So I think that is the starting ground. And that's whether your parents were great or not. You have to decide, I'm going to take what I was given and just try to build from there. And I think it's a natural response to continue to look at like, oh, well, I didn't have this resource. My parents didn't provide me this.
We've talked about this.
And that's hard. That's hard to think about.
See, I think a lot of people think about what their parents owe them, not what they owe their parents.
Well, okay, because I think I'm still in that stage of exploring what that looks like for me as far as what do I owe my parents?
Yeah.
So what do you feel as though
Well, what do I think I owe my parents? Not much. They're dead. So there's that. I think we're sort of done at this point. However, were they good parents? No.
What do you think your kids owe you? And don't say, oh, good grades and, no.
Good grades. They're in their 30s.
Well, I know.
Well, actually, Charlie's back at school.
He is.
He's getting his
Berkeley,
master's
right?
at Berkeley School of Music. Yeah. He better get good grades. Yeah, actually, good grades. Actually, I'm going to go with good grades.
Okay, but let's from the
Yeah, what do my kids owe me?
the culture that you set within your family, what's their responsibility to the culture?
To take care of me when I lose my mind.
Okay.
And living with you, that's coming sooner than later. I think it's a good question. And as somebody, you know what I do as part of Heal Chicago, I run free emotional support groups for unpaid family caregivers. We've had 300 caregivers go through it, and 99% of them are the offspring of somebody with dementia or Parkinson's or cancer or something else, and they are caring for their parent. At least 75% of them have absolutely shit relationships with their siblings, who don't pitch in. So I wonder often to myself, why does one sibling think, I owe my mother this? And another sibling goes, I don't know her nothing, right? So do we? What do we owe each other?
That's interesting because every child experiences their parents differently. And that, to me, informs the trajectory of those relationships.
Or are some children just selfish assholes and a couple are just really nice?
I think that's possible.
Yeah, maybe.
But if your parent did the best that they could from where they stood, then that is enough to work with if you choose.
Yes.
But I also believe in autonomy. If you don't want to be a part of the culture that has been set and what you have been conditioned into within your family, and you decide that you want to do things different, and it seems as though you're rejecting or rebelling, then you have to do that and stand on business if that empowers you. I remember last year, I was just, you just get to a certain age and you start to observe what you're experiencing, how you're experiencing life, and you want your family to be a part of that, and you want to be able to share in the intimacy and the vulnerability of that. And I felt as though my family, we've struggled with that through the years. And one day I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of being in this group chat where we're not talking about nothing. We're not leaning into what's actually going on, what we're actually thinking, feeling, experiencing. It's like, oh,
that's why you had to move in with me.
I mean,
oh, we can talk about it.
Yes, that's we'll unpack that. And I felt empowered by doing that.
Yeah,
my family thought it was dramatic. They thought it was just kind of just me being the youngest sibling and being a baby.
For next time, I want you to ask your parents, what do they feel you owe them? Okay?
And if we start fighting, then it's your fault.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
And we're going to duke it out right here.
I'm going to ask my kids, what do they feel they owe me?
Yeah.
And we'll bring it back.
Yes.
And we'll kind of take a look at it.
Yes.
Yeah?
Give me about 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah, I could only deal with them in doses.
Oh, for the love
So
of
1 month from my mom, the other from. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I got you.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be interesting. But I want to pursue this topic more at a different time. But I really feel like we need to be looking at this. Like, do you feel you owe your country anything?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, that's our episode.
That's
folks.
our episode right now. Let's go have our drink.
Ooh.
You're going to make me a good drink, right?
Oh.
You can think about that.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to interview your parents. You're going to think about that, right?
Jeannie, what do I owe my country?
Yeah, I want you to think on it this week.
Oh.
Okay?
You're going to start a riot.
Okay.
Or I will.
We're going to think on it. Okay, love you.
Well, thanks for tuning in to episode 2
of What the Hell is Happening.
Or What the Helly.
What the Helly?
Yeah.
Helly.
What the Helly?
Helly.
What the Helly?
No.
That's a song.
What the hell?
It's a song. Yes.
What's your other song? What did you were dancing in the car?
Oh, abracadabra, abracadabra. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you still going to teach me to dance?
Absolutely.
Okay, because my husband says when I dance, I look like I'm stepping on mice. So we're going to work on that, right? All right.
It's that Irish in you.
It's that Irish in me, man. Like, a lot of mice in Ireland. A lot of mice, right? All right.
Let's have a drink.
Let's have a drink.
Let's
do this.
Share my love.